movies, photography, AI, writing, content creation, and more. The Pixel Pitch podcast is a podcast for online creatives featuring Christian Teja, a Watson Street Studios production.
Hello, welcome to the Pixel Pitch podcast, a Watson Street production. This is a new podcast that used to be under the Film Dweeb moniker, but because of YouTube's algorithm, I decided to switch it over to this new channel because it was messing up my other videos. So let's get right to it, into the Oscars. We just finished the 96th Oscars of 2024. Oppenheimer won Best Picture. And if you ask me, it's well deserved. I'm very happy about it. I was actually quite entertained by the ceremony itself. It didn't get too weird, or Jimmy Kimmel played it safe. I'm not a big fan of his at all. He tends to let his personal views and his politics seep into everything he does. And he did a little bit of it for this one. But overall, I felt like I was in the mood for something safe and kind of cringy, because the last few years were just so weird. I didn't like the winners of last year with Everything Everywhere All at Once, because I felt Banshees of Inisherin was more deserving of a lot of things. And to me, it's criminal that Colin Farrell didn't win last year, or the screenplay. This year, I was expecting Oppenheimer to win. I thought maybe Killers of the Flower Moon might surprise us, but it didn't win a thing. And the only injustice I feel is that Lily Gladstone didn't win this year. I haven't seen Poor Things. I'm sure Emma Stone is great, but it's really hard to imagine anyone having a better performance than Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon. So that I was very disappointed in. And as well, I was quite confident that the original song for Killers of the Flower Moon would have won. The Osage singers doing their traditional style. But Billie Eilish, if I have to sit through another Billie Eilish performance at the Oscars, come on. It's just I think the Academy is trying to appeal to the Zoomers, and that's something you just can't do. Just give it up, everybody. You can't appeal to the Zoomers. They're tuned in to other things, and they don't care about the Oscars. They don't care about movies. All they want is their YouTube and TikTok and whatever else they're doing. They like to watch videos where people are telling them that they have no future. And they like Mr. Beast. They don't care about this stuff. So you didn't have to give it to Billie Eilish. What else? But going back to Oppenheimer, I'm glad it won Best Picture. Cillian Murphy, I'm pretty happy for him. And Best Score, that was really satisfying. And cinematography, Hoyte van Hoytema. Some people felt snubbed for a few times the last few years. I thought he should have won for Dunkirk, but Oppenheimer was a beautifully shot film. They created film stocks just for him. He created a lens, and he came out with this beautiful, gorgeous movie, and it's well deserved that he won. And Robert Downey Jr., another one that I was expecting to win, and sure enough, he did, and he was great. He was a little goofy at the awards, but yeah, he was definitely deserving of that award. I think he won for Chaplin way back in the day, but I was watching the movie, I was like, oh my God, this guy's really flexing his muscles. After all those years of Marvel, he's finally able to spread his wings again. And there he is. Here's that classic actor, that really good actor that we know was in there. He was showing what he's made of, and it was a great performance. And I'm glad he won. And moving on from Oppenheimer wins, recently watched The Holdovers and American Fiction. And in terms of the Oscars, I really loved Oppenheimer and Killers of the Flower Moon. I was expecting either of those to win. In terms of movies that I enjoyed the most, The Holdovers and American Fiction. And I just recently watched American Fiction the other night, just a few nights before the Oscar. And I really loved that movie. It was really good. It was very well done. And there was a couple of moments where I felt like it was about to veer off, but it didn't. I know a lot of people probably think it was a bit of a weird ending, but I liked it. And I noticed that the score was also nominated. And one thing I noticed, that was the only critique I really had of the movie, was that sometimes the score was a little too busy, like a lot of Spike Lee's movies, but at the same time, I liked it. So I'm probably going to do a review of American Fiction, and I'm so glad that it won Best Adapted Screenplay, and that the writer-director, his name escapes me right now, he went on stage and he said he made a plea for Hollywood. Number one, he said as a 40-year-old man, the ageism is rampant in Hollywood, and I think it's his first movie. I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure. You may have to correct me on that. But I guess someone took a chance on him, and now it's a big thing that he won. And he made a plea to Hollywood to stop taking risks on huge budgets and to maybe split up those big budgets into smaller ones. And that's the way it used to be, is that Hollywood, music, the entertainment industry in general, you had people in charge that would push these big budget kind of tentpole things, but they also supported artists, and they would pump out tons of risky, lower budget projects, and some of those became classics. The modern iteration of Hollywood are just a bunch of idiots, and they just are looking at the bottom line and answering to boards and investments, remakes, superhero, sequels, this and that. You got to have some sort of established audience before you put something out. It's ridiculous. And I'm so glad the screenwriter had sent out this message to Hollywood, and they need to hear that. They need a slap in the face. Take some risks again. Support artists again. Because, like I said, the Zoomers aren't tuning into movies. They're watching YouTube. And you're going to lose out this whole generation if you don't start taking risks again. And speaking of risks, the director Jonathan Glazer, he made a speech accepting for the best international film for Zone of Interest. And he used it to condemn the actions of Israel in Gaza. And the Academy's YouTube channel doesn't include his acceptance speech. Like, come on, you cowards. Like, Hollywood just needs to get their head out of their asses. Come on, man. You can't be blind to what's going on in the world, and you can't alienate, a large chunk of the population that knows what's going on out there. So you just got to have all the warts out there. I was pretty happy with the Oscars overall, like I said. The big ones, the ones I really thought would win. I really thought Paul Giamatti would win, but I'm glad Cillian Murphy won. And like I said, the screenplay, of course, Barbie was a big loser just for the Billie Eilish, I think, was the main thing that they won for. But yeah, that about wraps up my thoughts on the Oscars for this year. And let's hope that we get some great ones for next year, because this year was pretty hard to top. Despite with the strikes, the union business, there would have been a lot more movies released, a lot more competition, but the ones that did get released and that the audiences saw and came back to the box office for, there was some really strong competition this year. But yeah, I'm going to do basically this podcast. It used to be called the Film Dweeb Podcast, but I had it on my other YouTube channel and it messed up my channel. The other channel is a movie fan channel where I do behind the scenes videos and interesting facts about movies. I did a podcast and it just nobody watched or listened to the podcast because my channel was completely something different. I'm just going to keep the podcast to this channel. It'll probably be on Spotify as well. And I'm not just going to talk about movies as a fan, as an analysis of box office or news or gossip. I'm also going to talk about photography, the creative life, writing, anything that comes to my mind. And if you don't like it, listen anyways. I know, that was so weak. Anyways, thanks for listening. And let me know what you think of the Oscars this year. If they're a waste of time, or if you still enjoy them and get chills. But yeah, signing out, Pixel Pitch Podcast. Tune in next time.